outside can also hear us a bit as well. Once again, I want to appreciate Pastor for having us here. If your hands are free, can we put our hands together for Pastor and the First Lady for having us here. So we're going to run through something very quickly. One of the things that I like to tell married folks, in fact anybody really, is that what we can do is to give you knowledge, give you encouragement, give you information, but the willingness is something you have to bring. All right, and except when we're doing personal therapy sessions or counseling sessions, where we teach a bit generally, we are speaking to people that ordinarily want to make their marriage work. All right, so a lot of the things we teach are based on the premise or understanding that the individuals in the room are people that want to make their marriage work. All right, so willingness is your own responsibility. We cannot bring that. And I've learned over the years that in every, or in most, not every, but in most families, within every couple, there's always that one person that is more willing to work on it, and that one person that appears to be, the person that is ready to scatter it. Don't laugh too much, I don't know which one you are. That one person that uses the D word, that threatens with the D word, I will divorce you, I will leave, that seems very unwilling. So today, if you are that person, I was once like you, so we were in the same WhatsApp group. And I pray you will come out of that WhatsApp group and join the willing, people that are ready to work on their marriage. There's always that one person that feels he doesn't stand to lose much if this marriage fails. And there's that person that also feels like they stand to lose much, they want to work on it. Most of the things we teach are on the premise that both people want to work on it. So I can't bring willingness for you, that's what I'm trying to say. I can't bring willingness for you. And what we're going to share briefly, as fast as we can, this evening, is to talk about the different expressions of love. The different expressions of love. Again, 1 Corinthians 7 tells us that he that is married focuses on the things of this world, how he will please his spouse. So your number one goal as a husband or a wife is a desire to please your spouse. If every couple and every person that enters a marriage enters with that mindset that I'm here to please or serve you, it will be a whole lot easier for people to work on marriage. Many people, on the other hand, enter the relationship with the mindset of I'm here for my own benefit. When you have that mindset, it's going to be difficult for marriage to work. Everybody in a marriage is there to serve the other, not serve themselves. So 1 Corinthians 7 establishes that. I think from verse 33. He said, those that are single seek only to serve the Lord. He said, but those that are married should be concerned about this world, how they will please their spouse. So, we are going to do it, I'm going to speak to men. So, guys, the way it works, I'm going to talk to you as if the women are not in your room. Is that okay? I can't hear you. Is that okay? Yeah. So, I will assume I'll talk to you as if the women are in the room. All right? I do a lot of men coaching and training. So I'm going to speak to you like that. Most men always tell me, oh, I don't even know what she wants. I don't understand women. And women are not that difficult to understand. So I'm going to just tell you about 7. They are not that difficult. Trust me. Trust me. That's part of my job. All right? They are not that difficult. If I'm able to spend time with any man that is willing, I can train him to be a great lover. It's very easy. If you are willing to learn. Willingness, that's the thing I can bring for you. You must bring that for yourself. So guys, I'm going to teach you like that. I'm sharing with you like that. 7 or 8 expressions of love. When we say love a woman, there are about 7 or 8 expressions I'm going to share. Then my wife is going to speak to the ladies. I'll let her talk. We will do it one-to-one. So if I share something to the guys, she will see it today. So I will let her do her own opening speech in a bit. So, and ladies, this is what I want you to do. I hope the people outside are also hearing because this is important. Ladies, this is what I want you to do. When I share any points, all right, I want you to, if you are sitting with your husband, that is, touch his lap. Do it under the table. Touch his lap. You, with your 5 fingers, you will tell him how important the point I'm sharing is. So if it's very important, you touch him with the 5 fingers. That means this is important to me. Because every human being is slightly different. If it's a 4, if the importance of what I'm saying is a 4 to you, touch him like this before. If it's a 3, you know, if it's a 2, if it's a 1, if it's not important, you... Are we getting this? So are we in agreement? All right. So you want to...
Okay, so good evening, everyone. I'm so glad that we're able to make it here. And I'm trusting God that tonight we'll be able to help couples to move from just having regular ordinary marriages to having extraordinary marriages. Pastor K says he's going to talk to the men as if the women are not in the room. I'm going to talk to the women with the consciousness that the men are in the room. Because there are some things that I will say, you just keep your face straight. Because if you show any emotion, you can get in trouble when you get home. And when you're asking the question, ask for a friend. Between you and I know that it's you. But just say, there's somebody I know. But I trust God because I think this is important because loving a man is different from loving a woman. And the issues we've always dealt with in counseling is that people try to love their spouses the way they want to be loved, and it doesn't always work. Just because you want someone who is no, let me not get ahead of myself. But I found that to be the problem. We think that men and women are the same, and they're not. Men and women are not the same. Men and women don't have the same needs. Men and women don't have the same expectations, whether in relationship or outside relationship. So tonight I'm really trusting God that I'll be able to hone into it. We're going to keep it very short because we also really like to take questions. I feel like that's the pulse of meetings like this, where we can speak into particular situations, so that we're not just speaking over your heads and you just take principles and go home, but you can't apply them. We really want this to be practical, because if it's practical, then it will make a difference in your marriage, and that's why we're here.
Okay, and take note, some of these things, especially for the guys. Remember, guys, we're all alone. It's a men's meeting. Yes. So guys, first rule, when we're teaching the things, when I'm teaching things I'm going to share, a lot of them will not come to you naturally. So that's the secret of loving a woman. You don't love her instinctively. All right? Because your instincts will not be able to meet her needs. Her needs are very unique and different from yours. So if you follow your instincts, you will always score low points. Is somebody getting what I'm saying? I was coaching a young man. I don't want to waste time with gist, but let me get to my points. Okay, let me do this one. Okay. So I was coaching a young guy. He wants to marry a lady that is a pharmacist or something like that. And he's into automobiles. So that's what he's doing back home in Nigeria, but he wants to come out here as well. So the lady's asking, so when you come here, what will you do? What are your plans? You know, and he has discussed with me about doing this either Uber X or this limo Ubers or something like that to start with. When he lands here, then he will pick up from there. So when the lady asked him the question, you know, that's what he said. And I said, is that how you said it? Because she wasn't excited. I said, is that how you said it? He said, yeah. I said, no, you do not talk to women that way. All right? When women say they want honesty, it's not that of honesty. Remember the young men here, so I'm talking to guys. All right? You must always learn to paint a picture to women. Women are dreamers. All right? They are fantasizers. You must paint pictures to them. You don't talk to them in literal form. They are not literal beings like men. All right? So I said, what you would tell the woman like that is that you want to go big in transportation business. You intend to own a fleet of limo services, a fleet of trucking businesses, and all that. That is the vision. Of course, nobody starts from there, but that's the vision. That's what you paint when you talk to a woman. You don't go and say, I want to buy one Uber and be driving it every week. So you don't follow instincts. You must understand who you are talking to. Paint the picture. You must paint. So like I said, if I spend time with any man, I can teach you how to talk to a woman. The women are not troublesome at all. Every time a woman is making a statement, it's a question. It's not a statement. So you must know what questions she's really asking. Then you give the answer. So most men don't understand it. Sometimes men are, like I said, we are too literal. So if a woman is saying, you don't love me anymore, a man thinks that's a call to debate. You don't love me anymore. The man will say, how can I say I don't love you anymore? Last year, I bought you this one. It's not a call to debate. If a man says, you don't love me anymore, the question is, do you still love me? It's a question, not a statement. Not a call to debate. For most men, you don't love me, they'll start, good afternoon, fellow debaters. Accurate, thank you, Pastor. For them, it's a call to debate. It's not a call to debate. That's why when you debate with a woman, you never win, because it was never a debate. Is somebody getting what I'm saying? Okay, but that's just for me. So let's go. Guys, I'll give you about 8 expressions of love. Women like, number 1. I'll give you short as much as. Number 1, women like expression of love, sacrificial love. So you see this in Ephesians 5. Pastor talked about this morning when we're doing with the young adults. Ephesians 5, sacrificial love. That's what is called agape in that scripture. Women like when they see that you can sacrifice for them. They want to see that when the chips are down, can you sacrifice for them? And Pastor talked about this morning. For the reason why God particularly instructed men in that regard is because it's not instinctive for men to sacrifice for another. That's not what comes to you. A woman is a giver by nature. A woman all her life is going to sacrifice. She's going to sacrifice to have kids. She's going to sacrifice to do. So she's a giver. She's wired to give. But men, the way a man's mind works, if he has not taken care of himself, he finds it hard to take care of another. This is why many men marry late. They feel I'm not yet financially stable enough so I can carry the weight of another. So men think of first, I must be strong enough. I must take care of myself enough so I can take care of another. So God particularly instructed men, love your wife. He didn't bother tell women that women will naturally sacrifice. But he told men. So a woman likes it when she sees that you can inconvenience yourself and sacrificially go out of your way. Sometimes put her ahead of you to show her that you love her. So she likes to see that. You see, your whole leadership in the home is based on that. Many men think when they say you're leader in the home, it means you are going to dominate the home. It means you are the chief servant of the home. Ephesians 5 interpreted itself. When it says you are the head of the home, it showed what a head is and gave himself the way Christ gave himself for the church. So, first thing for you guys is that your wife needs to know that you can sacrifice yourself. You can start from small things. Can you get up early to go drop her somewhere? Can you stay up late to help her with something? Can you, if there's one car in the house, do you want to use the car? Do you say, you use the car, I'll trek. She needs to see. And when I say sacrificial love, I'm not just talking about paying bills, because that's where most men sacrificial love starts and ends. No, paying bills is generally responsibility. We're talking about things that have to do with her particularly, okay? Sacrifice in that regard. So ladies, under the table, let me tell your husband how important this one was. So you, all right, Pastor M.
Someone is 16 years. I think someone told her not to hold her husband with two hands. Okay, so for the women, one of the major expressions of love that men want is unconditional love. The way you want sacrificial love, men want unconditional love. And what does that mean for a man? It means that he wants to know that you fully accept him. Not just for the things that he can do for you, but at the very core, who he is. Okay? A man wants to know that whether, even if he doesn't achieve anything, he wants to know that there's a safe place where somebody completely accepts who he is. Now, the problem with this is that women are fixers. We like to change things. So when you come on the scene, a lot of men, when a woman says, I love you the way you are, it's not true. She loves you the way you are, but that just means that you are a foundation for what she can work with, for what she wants you to be. So most women already have a plan of how they're going to change their husbands. Now, for instance, when I met Pastor K didn't have an afro, he didn't have a beard. He was very skinny. And he wasn't in my head, my spec, right? But when we go, I knew all the things I was going to change. I knew how I was going to do it. But the first thing was to accept him. He didn't believe in the beard thing. He was like, no, I just said, you are very fine. Anyhow you are fine. But can we just be breaking it down small? Can we just be increasing? You're very hairy. Why do you even want to be cutting your hair every 2 weeks? Why don't you just go there? You don't like to go. There's a way, knowing that when a man feels like you are his ally, he feels comfortable enough to share anything with you. So for him, I had to make him understand that I respect your choices. I actually love you anyhow. You know, if you want to carry a bald head, that's fine. Pascal was clean shaven when I met him. His hair, no hair on his head. I was like, that's fine. But from time to time, I would drop in the fact that this would make you better, but the way you are is fine. A man at the very point, that's physical things, but it can be other things as well. It can be the decisions he makes. So the man doesn't just want to be loved or want to feel loved because of the things he does for you. He wants to feel that at the very core of himself, whether he's achieving anything or not, he has a safe place when he gets home. This is one of the reasons why men are very attached to their mothers. A mother will love her son unconditionally. You are the one criticizing him, his mother will not criticize him. No matter what you say to her, she'll tell you that you are the problem. He's a good boy. He's the bad friends he's working with. Meanwhile, he's the leader of the gang. But her son, nothing wrong with her son. Her son is in prison. She's visiting him every day and saying it's the justice system. Your son was with gun in his hand. Somebody puts it in his hand. You know, they know that no matter what they do, they can go home and talk to their mom and she will accept him. And that's the kind of love that every man needs. He needs that kind of thing from you also as wife. Now, men, I don't know if you need to hold your wife's leg, hand, or whatever to tell her what level this is for you. But let her know whether this is important to you as well.
Okay. Guys, number 2. Have you given feedback to your spouse? It's important. Give feedback, let them know how important this is. Number 2, for the guys. Guys, another expression of love your wife needs is passionate love. Passionate love. Your wife needs to know that you still desire her and want her, no matter her age. Women generally like to know they are the center of attraction in your life. She wants passionate love. Do you still use those words that make her feel sexy, make her feel attractive? Or do you just call her Mama John? Mama Toby. Is that what you call her? Then you are calling her the wrong thing. Proverbs chapter 5 says, let her breast satisfy you at all times. Be ravished with her love. So you must have things you call your wife. I call my wife my caramel latte. Natural BBL. It's important she knows you still desire her. That you are not just keeping up or bearing or coping with her. She wants to know you still desire her. That you still have the hots for her. Alright? She likes passionate love. This means you still chase her around the house. You still reach out for her. You know, some men, after some years in marriage, sex becomes a chore. Oh, again? You know that the weather, I just came back to you know that. No. Even when you are tired and all that, rejecting a woman goes way more, it affects her way more than you can imagine. So it's important to show that you are still, passionate about her sexually and attractiveness. Alright? Yes. So give feedback, ladies. How important is this one? This one might be 2 for many ladies. So.
None of the ladies touch.
None of the ladies don't touch. 0. Give feedback, ladies. Let them know. Right?
Okay. So for women, the way women want passionate love, men want physical love. So men want sex, and more sex. Men are married. You won't talk now. Then tonight you'll be touching her back. Okay. And this can range from casual affection to passionate intimacy. But what a man wants to know is that he's also wanted. So ladies, I want to say this. Please initiate sex more. Okay, maybe I said from the wrong place. Ladies, initiate sex sometimes. Because the way that man came out.
We're getting support from that side.
Thank you. So ladies, please initiate sex. It's not a man's responsibility to be the one to initiate sex. Interestingly, research has shown that men enjoy sex more when the woman initiates it. Because he also wants to feel that he's wanted. He doesn't always want to be the one having to convince you and chase you and all of that. Another thing that you must never do, you must never withhold sex from your partner. The Bible calls it fraud. King James says, defraud ye not one another, because your body is not your own. When you're in marriage, your body belongs to each other. So a man, your husband, should not have to convince you to have sex with him. One of the ways that you show him that you love him is that you willingly serve yourself to your husband. So I mean, tonight we're not talking about sex, but for married couples, it's a major issue in marriage. A major issue. Some married couples are not having sex at all. And it's not for it's not because the man doesn't want any sex, it's because the woman most times is also tired. But for the man, he wants to see that's how the man knows that it's sacrificial for you, that even when you're tired, sometimes you initiate sex because you know that it's a need for him. And so that's how some men, most men, all men. So all men appreciate physical love. Initiating sex, not withholding sex. And listen, I hear a lot of women say, let me not say it here. Should I say it? I hear a lot of women say things like, I don't have sex today. I mean, you have not had sex with your husband in a month. You've not had sex with your husband in 2 months. And then when he finally initiates, you say you're having a man, we don't need your head, just position. I think I've said too much.
All right. Guys, give your wife feedback on that one. Is it 5? Is it 4? Is it 2? Is it 1 for you? Please, we're giving feedback. We're not just playing. We're serious. Feedback. Who's looking there? You're giving feedback, right? Thank you very much. Please, the parent give feedback. We're just here to have fun. We really want to help you guys communicate. So number 3, guys, are you in the house? I can't hear you. Guys, are you in the house? Okay, number 3. Women, one of the expressions of love you should give a woman is jealous love. Jealous love is not the same as jealousy. Okay? Or insecurity. That's not what I mean. So it's important you differentiate it. Jealous love is like when the Bible says God is a jealous God. God is not jealous of us. He's jealous over us. So there's a big difference. Okay? So a woman likes to know that you still think she's very attractive even to the general public. So there are certain things you wear, you're like, you want to wear this thing out. You're going to cause trouble in the whole of Atlanta today. She still likes to know that you know that she's still so attractive that other people might be interested in her. Abraham understood this. Even at old age, Sarah was going somewhere with Sarah. He said, look, you are still so hot. People are going to try to kill me to marry you. And she was about 90 or something years old. That's how Abraham was, and you see, and somehow, you see, when you pour out the right compliment to a woman, she gets finer. Women get more beautiful, more from an emotional standpoint. When you make a woman feel beautiful, she gets more beautiful. So guys, you need to understand that. And this thing Abraham did was so powerful that when they actually got to that country, the men in the country saw her and they too agreed that, this woman fine. In fact, the guys all said among themselves, she's too fine, none of us here can deserve her. It's only the king. Do you understand? The guys agreed. That's only the king that should toast this girl. And truly, when they told the king too said, true. This girl is fine. And he carried her to his house. That's how pretty she was. And guess who had given her compliment that made her to be glowing? His brother. So women like to know that you still feel that apart from them being attractive to you, that you feel they are so fine. Now other people too will be looking at them. You know, today is dinner, women dress up and everything. Did you compliment your wife today? Or just like, hurry up, let's go, we are going late. If that's what you said, they will not forgive you. Ladies, give feedback. Let's know how they are doing.
Okay, so women need jealous love, but men need prioritized love. So let me explain this. Now, for a woman, there are many moving parts in her life. She's a mom, she's a wife, she's career woman or a business woman. She has so many things that she's doing. And tendency is for you to put the man as just one of those things. Men need to feel prioritized. That's how they understand and receive love. So for instance, if you actually, I'll give you a practical example with Pastor K. So I remember when I had my son. Now it wasn't like this with the girls, funny enough, but when I had my son is the last. David was born, and then I usually keep my babies with me in our room till they're weaned. And I would usually do that for a year. So I would do, And so I remember that when it was about 9 months, Pastor K started complaining. Every time it's this boy. Every time it's this boy. Why does he have a bed in his room if he's not sleeping in his room? I'm like, because it will be difficult for me to stand up and say, we have to find a way. This boy cannot be sleeping in his bed, because I don't understand. He should grow up and go and marry his own wife. And he went on and on about it. But he would say that and he would make it look as if he was joking. But one thing is, when you understand your spouse, you understand how they communicate. So anytime Pastor wants to say something that's really very important, he would make light of it so that I wouldn't feel bad about it or start to meditate. Because I'm a thinker, a very deep thinker, so I would meditate. And why would he say this? So if he makes it light, it will just be something I'll think about casually, but at least I will think about it. So he went on and on about David. Let David go to his room. This is not family plan. I'm not doing this. This boy is not my family plan. He should stand up. And then I realized that he's saying something over and over again, but I need to understand what this is. And I realized that what he was trying to say was, you're prioritizing these children over me, and I'm not feeling love. And that's not the kind of conversation a man wants to have with his wife. He doesn't want to be that vulnerable to say, I don't feel love. That's a woman kind of thing. So he found a way to pass the message across. And so I realized that one of the ways that he receives love is when he realizes that he's more important than everyone else. Mother, father, and that's why the Bible says, for this cause, a man will leave his father and mother and cleave. So when you get married, one of the ways that a man receives that kind of love from you is that when you can prioritize him above every other thing. No matter how busy you get, you must still make him feel like he's the king of your heart. No matter how many other people come into your life, that number one spot must not be taken. He must feel prioritized. So men, please give your wives feedback. Are there some people we need to move from the bed?
This matter is a national issue.
Yes, sir.
There was one grown man with grey beard that was complaining in counseling. Their son, 5 years old, is sleeping in their room. The man of God was not happy. Of course, you know what that means if he's sleeping in the room. The man of God was not able to minister. If you understand, you don't understand, so. So it was a federal issue. Okay, guys, are you in the house? Number what are we in now? Number 4. One of the expressions of love women like is what I call daddy love. Daddy love or sugar daddy love. Guys, one thing you must learn is that every woman's fantasy is to have a sugar daddy. A daddy that spoils them. A daddy that is not doing 50-50 with them. A daddy that is not sharing bills with them. It's every woman's fantasy. Every woman's fantasy. You want a man that can take care of things. Now, you might not be that financially, in that financial place. That's understandable. However, still spoil her. Every woman wants to be spoiled. So don't do everything, don't budget everything without once in a while flexing, letting her flex. And if you are married to a very prudent wife, she will not even like to spend. My wife is like that. She doesn't even like to spend. She likes to account for everything. So once in a while, force her to buy something she wants or buy it for her. Load her account sometimes for money that has no designation. Is somebody getting what I'm saying? And like I said, it doesn't matter how much you earn, it's about the generosity. It's about generosity. Every woman likes a man that spoils her. Alright? Very, very important. I remember one of my wife's birthday. I've been promising her when we were dating, we had never traveled before. I promised her I'll fly into the United States business class. We'll never travel at all that time. Like I told you, man, if I coach you, no, you can't be broke and not know how to talk. Only you can have those two problems. You can't have those two, but you're not permitted to have those two. If you don't have one, at least have mouths. Alright? Maybe tomorrow in church I will teach you more about that. But so I was telling you how we were dating. I'm going to fly around the world business class. I'm going to fly to United. Yeah, we didn't even have visa. But some years into the marriage, we finally got the US visa. And we just had it, we had not traveled. And her birthday was coming. And it just occurred to me that, hey, let me surprise her for her birthday. You know, and I just started to look for tickets to fly her to the US business class. I don't want to go into the long story, but finally I got the tickets. And I just told her, hey, honey, let's go and pick somebody at the airport. So she was like, why are we picking somebody at the airport? I said, you know, that there's a guest speaker and nobody can. And she was like, when did you start picking somebody? How are people that do those things? I said, just follow. So she just followed me reluctantly to the airport. We got to the airport. I said, I'm not picking anybody. I'm flying to America today, business class. And she was like, I've not packed. I bought her my debit card, so you will buy everything. I said, you buy everything again. When we get there, we'll buy everything you buy. And women don't like shopping anyway. You understand? So you must spoil your wives. Every woman has a fantasy to have a sugar daddy. So guys in the house, be her daddy. Be her sugar daddy. Ladies, give feedback. Give feedback, ladies.
I'm going to give you time to give feedback, but I feel like you need to, beyond touching, you need to explain it a bit more. Okay, the way that women want sugar daddy love, men want what we call body love. So the man wants a friend. He wants a friend. He wants somebody that enjoys spending quality time with him. Somebody that, and this is on two levels, someone who will play with him, but someone who will also let him play by himself. So men want to spend time with you. They want you to do the fun things. That's the way for you to show him that you love him. When you are doing the things he enjoys. Because when we talk quality time, sometimes people just think, oh, we must be. No, it's about the things that you both enjoy. But in this case now, because we're dealing with men, the things that he enjoys. Now I'm praying for you that you don't mind the kind of man that I marry, because other people, their husbands will enjoy going on vacation, going to a resort and staying in bed, and all those kind of things that normal people do. I, on the other hand, I'm blessed with a man that if we're not doing something that's almost killing us, is not satisfied. So my husband likes things like going to Ferrari World. I remember the first time I went to Ferrari World. He wanted to go to Ferrari World because he had heard about the fastest roller coaster in the world. And so, when we got to Ferrari World, they first told us, oh, before you do that, there's one other thing you need to experience. It's called the G-Shock. I don't know how many people have ever been to Abu Dhabi and have done this. You see normal people. So we got there, they told us there's something you need to experience, the G-Shock. And so we got on the G-Shock. Now the G-Shock is something that takes you up, I don't know what it's called, because I know they have 6 flags and things like that as well. But it takes you up, then brings you down, stops in the middle, then takes you up again, then brings you down, that kind of thing. And it's so high, in fact they banned it after a while. It's so high that from that vantage point you can see the whole of Abu Dhabi. So we got on that one, which was a big mistake. We got on it, and my husband was beside me. And as the thing took us up, in fact, there was one lady on my side. And instead of that one to be shouting Jesus, she was shouting Pastor M, Pastor M. I'm like, Pastor M needs Jesus right now. So what about me to save ourselves? My husband was really right. He was so quiet, and I was looking at him like, are you? He was horrified, traumatized. In fact, for months after that, he couldn't get on a lift. But I thought that would, cure him of these things. No. When we were coming down, my husband said, let's pretend as if it was nothing so that everybody else. So he came down with us. When we came down, he was like, don't you say, it's nothing, you don't, it's nothing, very good. So we left there and we went on the fastest roller coaster. It was such a traumatic experience for me, because I still remember when the thing was going fast and twists and turns and it was turning us upside down. I just kept saying to myself, Jesus, is this how I die? And there was a guy in front of, so we went with another couple, and the couple was sitting in front of us. And that guy, his Pascal's friend, they like speed. Pascal likes fast cars, he likes all these dangerous things. So, of course, I don't like it. Well, that's how I show him that I love him. I don't like it. I don't like to walk fast. I'm trying to show you. I don't want to come outside my house. I want to be in my bed, cuddled up. So why do we go to this kind of dangerous places? And so the guy was in front, and the guy was like, what kind of speed? What kind of speed can he possibly be? I kept quiet. He was in the front with his wife. His wife was living in the UK. I've never heard her speak anything but with a British accent. So throughout it was, babes, can we do this? Can we? I said, I love this accent. This way, God is really. We got on the thing, and then the next thing, we're moving. And then the guy said, it's not even fast. What's the meaning of this? Next thing we heard. And listen, guys, this is the dangerous. Anytime you hear this thing, that's it, you are dead. So when we heard and the thing just took off, my face, I don't know what, my eye was going, my face was going, I wasn't sure, honestly. I'm taking time, but I want to explain to them the sacrifices I made to show you. And when the thing moved, the next thing I heard the guy in front of us shout, Jesus Christ of Nazareth, you are the God of speed. In a Muslim country. And we came down from that. Should my husband be cured? No. We went bike riding on Hafid Mountains. If you don't know Hafid Mountains, it's one of those very winding mountains. And if you make one mistake, you are dead. Why would you do that? My sister, that's love. What is it called? That's the playful love. You have to be friends. But at least we've also done same things, like go to Manchester to go and watch Man City live matches, and wear my jersey. So those are the kind of things. He wants a friend. That's how men know that you love them. We want a friend. The second level is allow him play. He also needs time away from you. He needs time to explore other things outside of this relationship. He doesn't want to be mushy all the time. He doesn't want to talk about, can we have a conversation about, let's come in. Oh, God wants to have all those serious conversations. He just wants to watch football. He just wants to watch the news. And sometimes he wants you to be quiet and not tell him about all the bills. He wants a friend. Men like to spend time with their friends. So if you are his friend, he'll spend time with you. And that's how you can show him that you love him. Men, please give feedback.
I give feedback.
Yeah,
Me, I have feedback. My feedback for this one from my wife is 2 out of 5. When we're...
I can defend myself.
Wait first, let me talk. Well, let me share my own. When we didn't have kids, she was doing all these crazy things with me. So she would go to her fit mountain. There has been all things like, some field is a crazy place, very high, windy road. And we're riding motorcycle, power bike. So she does those crazy things with me. But when we start having children, she doesn't do risky things with me. The two of us cannot die.
No, it's true that, Pastor Mike, it's not wisdom for the two of us not to die and say, we have 3 children.
I shouldn't do crazy things with me again.
Well, I still try, it's not that bad. I still go and watch match with you.
Yeah.
That's what normal people do.
No, but that fastest roller coaster was wild. In fact, and just like you said, even the G-Shock, when we came down, we just pretended because it was in batches. And next batch is, how was this? So one time I took our pastors, the pastors we submit that are over our lives. So they are older than us, so they came to Dubai as well. So we took them to Ferrari World.
I didn't go.
Okay, you didn't go. Okay, so
I didn't go.
I was pregnant. So I took them, and I said, I entered the pastor. They say, see how far? I said, no, it's okay. It was bad. I told you it. I said, no. When they entered the when they came down, they would not for me tell you. It was that fast. But I told them, enter. I'm not sure if I tell you enter, so to go enter. I'm pranking you. Okay, number what, guys? What are we? Number 5. Women like public love. Some people call it PDA, public display of affection, but it's not just limited to physical display. Women like you to make your love for them public. All right. Yes, I know some people say, I'm private, but you see, she still wants to mark her territory emotionally. Sometimes, if you're the kind of person that your wife is still begging you to post her picture, or she doesn't need to be asking you. From time to time, just post her picture. Put her on, you put Arsenal on your status. You put different Donald Trump on your status. You put different things on, but you not put your wife. Put your wife, put her picture, put how much you love her. It's important for her and for the general public to know there's no vacancy. Because there are many people waiting around the corners to see if you're unhappy in your marriage. Is somebody catching what I'm saying? Women like a public display of love. If you are depriving your wife of sharing how wonderful your marriage is, you are depriving her of a lot. One of a woman's major testimonies is how beautiful her marriage is. So don't deprive her of that. Alright? No matter how private the person you are, still publicly declare your love for her. Alright, so ladies, give feedback.
Let me give you feedback on that one.
Yes. I know, don't give. One.
Okay. For men, on the flip side, men want what I call respectful love. So the way women want you to post them, men want you to treat them with respect in the house and outside. That's how a man feels love. He wants you to respect. He wants you to watch the tone with which you speak to him. No matter how angry you get, you can control yourself. He also wants you to carry that respect into how you relate with his family and your family. Some women their husbands are nothing in front of their family, because every time something happens, you go home and say this useless man and this respect that you, it's not just in words, it's in actions, it's in attitude. He wants to feel that you value his inputs in issues. So if there's something that you're trying to decide on, most women already know what they want to do, but still carry him along. Talk to him about it. It's not like you may be wanting permission, but at least there has to be an FYI. So it's important that the man feels respected in the home and outside the home. Now, I need to say this. He may not always act in a way that's respectable. But the way women want unconditional love, men want unconditional respect. The same way you want him to, why can't he love me? He should love me no matter what I do. It's the same way he wants respect no matter what he does. So there's a balance to it. So the man wants you, that's the way men really receive love. That's the way they interpret love. When you treat him with respect, speak to him with respect, you respect his ideas, respect his opinion, and then no matter how angry you are, it's a crime to shout at your husband. There should be no reason why you raise your voice at your husband.
Okay, so give feedback, guys, for your wife for that one. Okay, number 6. Is there something to worry about? Is there something?
Yeah, still giving feedback.
Oh, yeah, give feedback. It's good. It's important. It's important part of it. So I have 2 more to go, right? I think. Number next. I think I have 2 more. Number next. Women want, one of the expressions of love women want is a romantic expression. So a woman still wants to be a little girl, wants to be wild, wants to be wooed, wants to be chased, even when she's married. So please don't lose your romantic touch. Alright, it spices up your marriage. Still give her treats. Romance is important, being romantic. Alright, again, guys, remember that these things will come to you instinctively. I wasn't romantic at all. I'm a guy's guy. Fast cars, motorcycles, snooker, football, all the things guys like. I'm a guy's guy. And in fact, in my house, we are 5 boys. All our siblings, no girl, 5 boys. And all of 5 of us went to military school. The only woman in the house, my mother, that could have even helped our feminine side, is a retired soldier. So she's boys. She's part of the boys. So when I got married, I was not romantically equipped at all. I'm used to how guys talk, literally, without being emotionally intelligent and all that. But I had to learn that women are not like that. You must still be romantic. So if you want to do things for your wife, still put some effort. Still put some creativity in how you do it. Women love romance. Women love romance. So put some creativity. Don't just be too straightforward. Just like the way I mentioned how I flew my wife for her birthday. Very surprised. Don't just tell her, you're traveling in 2 weeks. No, that's boring. That's boring. Surprise her. Alright? Buy her a gift. If you buy a gift, don't just go to the store and say, hey, baby, I'm at the store to buy a perfume. Which one do you like? So you are being boring when you do that. You are being boring. Alright? That kind of thing, if you want to buy her something as small as perfume. So I coach guys, romance is doing the simple things in a special way. Something as small as buying perfumes. If you want to buy her a perfume, buy the perfume, wrap it up, and hide it somewhere. Either in her bag, in her car, in her wardrobe. And one day she'll be doing something in the house, she will come across it, and there'll be a small note on it. I know you will find it the way I found you. It's ordinary perfume, but the way you deliver it will make it look like it's more than it is. And women are good with memory. Every time she's spraying it, she'll be smiling. So, women like romantic love. Alright? Yes. So, ladies, give feedback.
Okay. So men like romantic love. I'm looking for something on the flip side. Men like supportive love. The way a man interprets love is if you are willing to stand by him during challenges. If you believe in his abilities, you give him encouragement when he's going through things. Sometimes men even need a woman who will just be a sounding board for his ideas. You may not even bring the solution, but he wants to be able to talk to you and you listen. Not that he's trying to give you, and sometimes women say that in counseling, we say that the woman says, my husband doesn't talk to me. Sometimes it's not that the men don't talk, it's that we don't listen. He's trying to have a conversation with you and interrupt him. You interrupt him with real issues, maybe school fees. Maybe, there's something leaking, you need to fix something, but he's talking to you about something deep on his heart. And if he's still at the first level of being vulnerable with you, you're not listening, he's definitely not going to go deeper. So men like what is called supportive love. He needs to know that even when he's going through trying times, you will be there. And you will not constantly be in his ear saying, I told you so. You don't listen. This thing is decoration. When I'm talking, you're not... He needs you to support him. Sometimes he also needs you to trust that even the decisions he made, they may not be correct, but you can cover him in prayer. You need to understand that both of you are on the same team. You're on the same side. It's a partnership. So it's not something that you just let him run on his own and say, well, whatever happens to you, that's your business. When you get married, you become one. And so that support, the way a woman wants to be romantic, the man wants the practical side of being supportive. He needs your help. And being a helper means that you are available for all things that he needs help with. So for men, your support is important. That's one of the ways that you can show a man that you love him.
That's the feedback. A clap with 5 fingers. No, but you can give feedback on that. Quickly, so that we can close the session. My second to the last one. Ladies, or guys rather, ladies like femme love. Femme love. What does this mean? Ladies actually like a guy that knows where he's going, what he wants, and can put his foot down. Most men would naturally think that your wife will be happy if you do everything she wants and everything she says. No, she will lose respect for you eventually. She will lose admiration for you that way. She wants to know that you even know what you want to do. And women don't seem like that because of how they react or they shout or they act. You would think, they want to control the house. No, they're just expressing their emotions. They will still like a man that is in control. Apostle Paul said, those that have a right to lead about a sister. One of the major needs of women is a man that can lead. Women don't mind a man that can lead if he can lead in love. So you can't put your foot down or have firm love if you're already a dominating husband. That one is wickedness. But if you're loving, yes, because this can't work for you. If you're already dominating and you are insensitive, then you're a wicked person when you put your foot down. But if you're a loving husband or before, and you have already created an environment of love, once in a while, your wife will like you to be able to put. Sometimes she wants to do things that will even harm her. There are times my wife wants to go on certain trips or go after you've not rested. You're tired.
Does he sell me at it?
I'm not saying, sorry. Okay, there's one woman that I know that when she wants to go on, maybe I can tell that she's tired and she wants to go. I say, no, you're not going anywhere. You can't go anywhere, just stay at home. You're not going for that wedding, you're not going for that. Say, well, they invited me, but you don't have to go. So sometimes a woman likes a man that can put his foot down for the benefit of the home, not on selfish issues. Yes, for her good. For the family's good. So a woman likes firm love, not a man that lets her get away with everything. Every time she does bad behavior, you submit to her. It's okay, I'm here for you. No, you think she'll be happy? No, she won't like that. She wants a firm leader that can be a strong, because her survival is tied to how firm you can be. If you are not firm with her, she knows that's how you also be weak outside with other women and other people. But if she sees that you are a decisive person, it gives her some security that you can protect this family. All right. Hallelujah.
Okay.
So give feedback. Yes. No.
Okay, so women need firm love. Men need affirming love. Okay? Men need affirming love. So they need verbal and non-verbal recognition of the things they do, their strengths, their abilities. Praise them. You should be his biggest cheerleader. There should be nobody outside praising him more. Some days when you read Ephesians 5:33, where the Bible talks about the woman submitting, if you don't read it in Amplified Classic or in Amplified Word or Expanded Bible expands it, you just think that word just means submit, just means anything says yes. No, it says that she notices him, that she venerates him, that she puts him first. So for a man, he needs to know that you see what he does and you are appreciative of it. So the way you provide for our family is amazing. There's just something about you. You're a good man. And at times I tell my husband things. I know that he doesn't like all those things, but I still tell him. When you tell him, I say, it's entering. When you go outside, you will remember I said it. So those things are very important, that you're consistently affirming, appreciating your partner, appreciating. Men don't hear praise as much as women. Women are always told you are beautiful, you are this, you are that. Interestingly, when you are getting married, I don't know if this happened with your family, but it happens a lot with families. When you're getting married and you go and introduce yourself, maybe tell someone, or you go and introduce your partner to your family, most times they say, who are you getting married to? This is the girl. Say, she's such a fine girl. If you take your husband, what they say, what does he do? Nobody, I they say, he's a handsome man. So men have to constantly prove themselves. So he doesn't, for him to feel loved, you have to tell him things that he's doing. Appreciate the things that he doesn't have to constantly put in your face, but you tell him, I see you. I see you. Men need to be seen. They need to be appreciated. They need to be affirmed. So, for instance, in the Bible, Abigail was married to a fool. Maybe she had tried to help him, but he was not hearing. So when David was coming to kill her family, she said, I can't die with this man. This man is a fool. She went to David and told him, you are going to be king tomorrow. You are not an ordinary man. How can you soil your hand killing I'm not even killing somebody great, killing a fool. No, King David, you can't do that, son. She went on. By the time her own husband died, the guy came back for her. Nobody had affirmed him like that. Nobody had made him feel, they made him feel big. You know, there's a king and a fool in every man, as my Bulldog says. The one you talk to is the one that responds to you. So if you're always praising and men rise to praise. They're created after the likeness of God. So if you want your husband to do something, affirm him. Don't always complain. And the funny thing, men and women are so different. If you tell a woman that you are a useless woman, she will try to prove to you that she's not a useless woman. If you tell a man you are a useless man, he will show you just how useless. I mean, you have not seen useless. I mean, useless. When a man is trying and you don't seem to see that he's trying, then he doesn't feel the need to continue to try. So for men, one of the ways they feel love is for you to let them know that I see you. So a consistent affirming. So women need firm love, but men need affirming love.
Okay, give feedback. Yes, thank you. Give feedback and I'll do the last one before we go sit. I'll do my own last one. Okay. And before we do that, please, we have some books out there. I recommend you get them. Most of them are couple-minded books. There is no dry season. It's a financial devotional. When we come to America, we'll talk about those rich in America. Until we got to America. So this is a financial devotional to help every couple. It puts both of you on the same page, literally, pun intended. So go through it together. No dry season. This is all year round for men and women. We give tips like the one we're sharing here, 52 weeks. 52 tips for 52 weeks. So it's called all year round. We coach you every week, something you can do to your husband or wife to make them happy. There's for men, there's for women. There's praying for your husband, praying for your wife. You fall in love to whom you pray, with whom you pray, and for whom you pray. So there's praying for your husband, praying for your wife. Women find a praying man very attractive. Very, very important. So this will help you. Scriptures, prayer points, how you can pray for your husband or pray for your wife. And then there is how to make love to a woman without touching her. Please, all men, this one is a compulsory one. And if you're here, your wife, your husband doesn't want to go and buy it for him and address it and give him. I coached men here how to make love to a woman without touching her. Alright, women are first emotional, not physical. Alright, so please, all guys, get this one. And then there's the famous one, A to Z of marriage as well. My last point. Guys, are you in the house? Has this been helpful? I can't hear you. Has this been helpful? Last one. Women like faithful love. Faithful love. Women like a love that is loyal. You know, most men love too generously. They love their wife, but they also love. They want to give love to anybody that wants love.
So that's what we're calling it now.
But guys, women like loyal and faithful love. That means she wants to be the only one. She doesn't want to be your number one. She wants to be the only one. When you say she's my number one, it means they can be number two. No, she doesn't want to be your number one. She wants to be your only one. Women love faithful and loyal love. So this means as much as there is crazy temptation in this world, crazy temptation in Atlanta, crazy temptation in Georgia. Oh, I've heard of the women of Atlanta. Wives of Atlanta. I've heard of all those things. Women love faithful and loyal love. I mean, the damage it does to a woman when her husband is straying cannot easily be measured or quantified or explained. Some women literally lose their mind. Some permanently lose their self-esteem. Trust me, if you step outside your home, you might not be able to recover it in one lifetime. The impact is so far-reaching, so long-lasting. It's not worth it at all. And if it has happened in the past, you have to consciously rebuild trust. Stop saying, why are you monitoring me? The last time we didn't monitor you, you didn't see what happened. Maybe you saw what happened. Last time we left you, you went astray. You went astray, so why are you doing? You're the one that you're submitting yourself for monitoring. By yourself, in good faith, to show you have changed. Women love faithful love. So I teach men again, if you have ever broken trust, you can't be defensive, you can't be touchy. You must understand that you are rebuilding something and she has a right to be worried. So don't even wait for her to call you to check where you are. You should be the one calling, checking in. Call. I'm here with Shola. You can see us, we are watching match. We are just here. Even if she doesn't ask you. You don't have to do video for report yourself. I'm in traffic, please, I'm in high, whatever traffic. Then you will give traffic report where you are and do video. Because you are rebuilding trust. And trust is rebuilt, trust takes time, takes truth, and takes transparency to rebuild. It takes time, it takes truth. That means you start telling the truth. But the last time you went astray, you said you were in one place and they found you in another place. To rebuild it, you have to start telling the truth, and you have to be transparent. So all this having password that has password that has password. Two-factor authentication on your phone that your wife does not have is a no-no. It's still a big discussion. I'm ashamed to even say this, but it's still a big discussion, even in Christian circles, that the woman should not have access to her husband's phone or email. It's a disgraceful talk. Because from the first marriage, said they were both naked, the man and his wife, and they had nothing to hide. So if you're talking about kingdom marriage, there are rules for, Pastor talked about this in the morning, there are rules for kingdom. It's not the same as other marriages. It's not the same as how the world does it. Our template has been written for us in Scripture. So they were both naked, the man and his wife, and they were not ashamed, meaning they had nothing to be worried about. So if you are still, your social media handles, your emails, your phone, your wife should have access to it. Should have access to it. Especially if you have broken trust. You know, before when you were doing what you were doing, you used to go to the bathroom with your phone. Now that you are repented, you are the one that should be submitting your phone for regular checks. Is somebody catching this? Women want faithful love. They want you to be able to give them a place for security. Women love security. So they need to be able to know they have nothing to fear. Even if you are traveling alone, they need to know they have nothing to fear. Alright? So ladies, give feedback. Quietly.
Okay, that would have been a good place to end it though, but I'm just throwing one last one. I honestly think that would have been a good place to end it. But let me just throw in one last one. I think that men, and for lack of a better way to describe it, men need spiritual love. The Bible says that, you know, about the Proverbs 31 woman, that husband's heart safely trusts in her, and he will have no need of spoil. You know, she will give him the right counsel. So one of the ways that you show a man you love him is that prayer cover that you give him. I find men, even men that are misbehaving, boasting in counseling, nothing happens to me. My wife is a praying woman. My wife is a praying woman. And so that's the assurance that his wife will not revenge when he does bad things. His wife will give him counsel. His wife is, so that you're even developing yourself spiritually is a sign that you love your husband, because you're able to stand in the gap as an intercessor. You're able to give godly counsel. You're able to partner with him. And of course, this is not to say that men shouldn't pray, like Pastor K has already established. But for most men, it just feels safe knowing that they have a spiritual wife.
All right. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. I hope this was helpful.
Let's is my mic working? Can you hear me? Let's give them a round of applause.
Just move forward, yes.
Yep. Sorry about that. Okay, so we're going to go into the Q&A session, given our time. And I just want to clarify that go on slido.com, and it's I love you, but don't spell out the you, it's just you as in the letter U. So I love you, and we're going to start reading out some of the questions here in a minute. So give us a minute. Okay, I do have one right here to start the conversation. This one says, I consider myself to be frugal, but my spouse isn't. Her spending habit is impacting the family because she dips into the joint account sometimes. How do I address this situation involved?
Okay, very good question. It's part of the things we teach couples. Opposites generally attract. So you marry the right wife. If you marry somebody like her, they will be in trouble. So opposites generally attract. Savers marry spenders, talkers marry listeners, outgoing people marry introverts. That's how it works. All right. I'll let my wife talk more because I was also a spender. I'm a born again spender now. I've changed, but I was very reckless with finances. So we had a similar situation. So I'll let her share. I only don't share how reckless I was. I've already shared that. When she shares it, I don't like it. She doesn't share it with me. It makes me look bad. I like to share it myself. So just share.
Okay, I'll try not to, but we need to call it spade. We were reckless. Pastor was really reckless with our finances, and we've always had a joint account. So that's the thing. We always, from the minute we got married, we had a joint account. Even though apart from the joint account, we also had, well, at least I had an extra account where I would save. So, for instance, things we're taking out, maybe we're traveling, Pastor K would share money for maybe shopping. And he would buy everything and there's my money somewhere. I'm not interested in all these material things. We're going to heaven. So, so he was really, I don't even want, he said I shouldn't share, but it was really bad. It was really, really bad. Pastor K would go out and come back and he has bought 2 dogs. Why? Because they came from the UK, they are pure breed. Are we breeders? What do we need to do? You know, he came back one day to our there was a dog he bought that was worth 250,000. He said he got a discount on it. Discount as compared to what? He would say things like, and the thing is, for him, like I always tell people, because he can sell ice to an Eskimo, so he's that kind of person that has sweet mouth. So he will come back and say, baby, you know I like spending time with you, and I like to play pool. When I go and play pool, I go out and I play with the guys, and I miss you so much. Why don't we just buy a pool table so the guys can come here? And sometimes when I'm playing, I'll just come upstairs, kiss you a bit, come back. There's no woman that will not agree to that now. So we buy pool table. Then when he buys the pool table, we realize that there's nowhere to keep it. Then we have to build something for it. Then when we build something for it, then they realize they didn't build it in the right direction because the Nigerian rain does not decide which way is going to fall. Then that was bad, and he decided to ban. So he was just reckless. Making money was never an issue. But at the end of the day, he was spending more than he was making. So what God did was, I went to pray about it. I went to pray about it because I realized that largely men are not externally motivated. So if, for those of you who married for a long time, you know that you're talking to your husband, but this thing is like decoration. You don't really hear from here, men hear from inside. You know, so I knew that the heart of the king was in God's hands, and there was going to be a solution. God has given me wisdom. So I went to pray about it, and God gave me a simple strategy. He said, first of all, don't rebuke him. Once you rebuke him and start shouting, you make a thing out of it, and he will withdraw. He will not feel like on the side. Second thing, start to pattern for him. My husband is spender, but he's also very generous. So as he's buying things, he will say, honey, you are not shop now. You are not spending. But what are we buying? Relax. You know, he's always like that. He always wants to, you like this, I'll buy for you. I don't want. I'll buy for you. I don't want. You know, so he's very generous. So God said to me, since he's generous, anytime he takes money, you should take money. He's always said that anyway. And then instead of spending, he's saving for him. So I opened up an account, and every time he would take money, now this is my own strategy, this is not to say this will work for your wife, and I'm trying to tell you that there are ways around this without it causing a fight, without you know, you can easily even have the conversation with her and then decide, I'm going to give you money, this is money, even though this is a joint account, it will now be both of us have to sign for you to get money out, it can't be either to sign anymore, so little things like that. So I started saving money. He would take money, I'll take it, save it. I know he didn't know for a long time until one day, I don't know what he was doing, going through the account, which he never does, because I run out of money. And then he noticed that they were double, every time he took something, the next, it was double charged. Because I had an agreement with the accountant, once money moves it. The same amount as it's moving, let's do like double transaction, just be moving it. So he said there seems to be an error here. The man said, the accountant said, talk to your wife. She sold me out. So Pastor calls me and says, what's going on? I said, oh, nothing. He said, why? I said, the way you're spending is what I'm spending. He said, I know you can never. Just tell me what's happening. So he put pressure on me, and I eventually told him that I was putting this money aside and I was hoping to give it to you. I would invest it and give it to you in turn 50. Just to kind of show you that saving pays, investment pays, not just eat everything. And I'll tell you what to say for rainy days here. It's God that gives rain, it's God that gives money. Relax. Say that's how you be saving, Jesus will soon come. You know, all those kind of things. And you'll be laughing and playing, so you can't really be mad at him, to be honest. But it was I felt like this was destructive. He turned 40 and we have 1 million naira to our name. The property we had, Pastor K sold it. You stand here. My wife and I are going to give. No, sir. Your wife and I are not giving. I don't want to discuss it with my wife where I want. No. You discuss it with me. I was in the US. I know this I shouldn't say, but no, I have to explain to this person asking this question that it's possible. It doesn't have to end your marriage. It doesn't have to cause so many problems. I was in the US having my second child. And when I was going in the account, the particular account I was going, there's about $100,000 in that account. So I came with the mind of somebody who has saved money to America. You know, I was going to have my baby, I was going to shop, So I went, that's the only time I splurged my children. So I was like, I would show, I got there, picked different things. I gave the woman the card. She said, I'm sorry, your card is declined. I said, madam, well, you go, please try it again. What's that? She put it again and said, I'm sorry, your card is declined. I said, give me my card. I picked up my phone, honey. I don't understand what's going on. He said, hey, we call GT. But I'm trying to pay for something from the dollar account. He said, oh, I forgot to tell you, I sold you, we're buying property on there. All I said to him was, I'm in America. Like, there's no money. You left me in America with no money. He said, have you ever had a need that God didn't provide? Don't worry. That's the man I'm dealing with. That's what I'm trying to tell you. So God said to me, just put this money. And when I told him, he said, how much can it possibly be? Of course, he didn't. You know, spenders never know that they're spending a lot. He was like, how much can it possibly be? When I told him how much it was, he said, this is the amount of money you saved. He didn't got to me that that's the amount of money spent, but let's get on topic. This is the amount of money you saved without my knowledge. He said, so now let the saving really begin. And that was the turning point. And it was simply an instruction from God that don't fight. This is how to win the battle. You mustn't always be insulting him. So, because I could go off on him. And I'd never gone off on him in the how many years we married. So if I'd gone off on him, we would have paid attention. I could have told him many things, but God said, don't. I would have told him many things. So why can't you, a full-grown adult, don't? But God said, don't. Maintain this testimony of respect and everything. And truly today, our finances have changed. Because now he understands that you can't spend everything that you earn.
I'm going to get
Praise the Lord.
So for that particular case, she's just given a scenario. You might not be exactly what she's doing, but sit down, have conversation with your wife. Our own rule where we teach couples that whoever is better with money should run finances as well. So definitely you have to find a way to be more in charge of finances, but in a transparent way and coach her into it. But trust me, the way marriage works, opposites attract because weaknesses must attract to strengths. That's how it works. If two people like her marry themselves, the church will be paying their bills right now. So God does it that way. All right, go ahead.
So the next question says, I find myself in a season where I say this is not the best option. I think I can do better by myself. What is it about marriage that we're not excited together anymore?
No,
so basically, like one partner is feeling like they can do better, maybe they made the wrong choice, and they can do better by themselves. So they're asking, what is it about marriage that they're not feeling excited about anymore?
Okay, so I think it'd be hard not to give counsel without knowing what's really going on in the marriage, because she has given me too much to work with here. I don't know why she's not excited. Is it that she feels like she's carrying the load alone? Is she, doing everything? Because, like I always say, marriage is too heavy for one person to carry. So obviously, if you're carrying marriage alone, you'll be discouraged. So I would have liked to know what's going on, why. But if you're working together as a team, if you're friends, you enjoy each other's company, if you're growing together spiritually, you're serving together, if you have a unified vision for the kids, you guys do family time, if you guys do date nights, that's a healthy relationship. If there's physical intimacy at least once a week, I feel like that's a healthy relationship. But if all these things are not happening, then obviously you will feel this way because you may be feeling used, you feel tired, you feel spent, you feel I can do better all by myself. Why am I in this? If on my own, I don't need to be accountable to someone else, helping someone else. I can do all the energy I'm putting into this, I put in my life and I know I'll be better. But God's original plan is for that two are better than one, for they have a reward for their labor. So both of them should be getting blessed, both of them should be getting the benefits of marriage. That's when you feel fulfilled in marriage.
Yeah, so in that case, she has to talk to a counselor so they can get the full details, all right? There's a reason she's feeling that way. But she didn't give us that today, so we don't know if it's just her just desiring something more, or if there's something that needs to be worked on inside the marriage. All right, so she needs to get counseling.
Or is there even distraction? Maybe
Yes.
she's comparing her marriage to
Something else.
else.
So there are a lot of details we don't have. Yes.
Okay, so the next question says, going by the Bible days and the most prominent names in the Bible, are men meant to be polygamous by nature? What changed between then and now? I love my wife 150%, but I think I'm polygamous mentally.
Praise God. Praise God. Very good question. And a lot of times, I sometimes don't like addressing those kind of questions publicly because people don't pay enough attention to catch it. I said earlier today, especially to the guys, that you can't love a woman instinctively. Do we all remember that? You can't do marriage by instinct. And this is what makes marriages fail all over the world. Because people are trying to do what comes natural to them. If you do marriage the way it comes natural to you, 100% of the time you will fail. You will fail. So those men in scripture were natural men. If you notice, Genesis 1 and 2 represents God's perfect will in most things. Genesis 1 and 2, before man fell, represents God's perfect will. If God wanted Adam to have many wives, he would have made many wives from the beginning. There's nothing that wouldn't have cost him. In fact, that would have been better to populate the earth. So Genesis 1 and 2 is man before he was corrupted and sin nature was given to him. Human beings were never designed to work to eat. They were designed to work to contribute, not to eat. If you are working to eat, you will most likely hate your job or lose your family or health in trying to keep up with the bills. That's not how God designed you. God designed you to enjoy what you do it to add value. That's why if you ever go to a business that is done by somebody that loves what they do, you know it's different from somebody that is doing it for their salary. Always a big difference. So Genesis 1 and 2 answers any question you want to ask about anything in life is in 1 and 2. How to meet a woman, how to propose, anything you want to ask is in 1 and 2 before man fell. After man fell, a lot of it is repair work. So you can't go there and pick anything out of context. You must understand context. So those men you were seeing, most of them were living naturally. Abraham, Moses, all those guys. A man's natural instinct is to, of course, be explorative sexually. So if you're asking that in your natural inclination or nature, would you want to have many women? The answer from my understanding is yes. But if you're asking that as a child of God, do you have to have many women? The answer is no. So you need to get this clear. So for you as a man, the reason why it's important for you to understand this is to know that there is a high chance, if you do not work with commitment and dedication like other children of God, like Joseph, like Job, like a whole lot of other guys that had integrity. If you don't consciously walk like that, then you will be left with no other option than to walk like Moses or Abraham or David. Now, if you are choosing those men that were polygamous or had polygamous or Solomon, you need to also look at the consequences. Most guys, when they are thinking sexually like that and following David and Solomon and co, they never read to the end. How did all those guys end? How did that go for them? How did their families fare? There's still bombing in Gaza going on now out of the affair Abraham still had. They're still 2024. Fight is still on. 25, sorry. So before you go and have that affair, before you go and look for that other woman, you need to know that generations after you will be fighting that issue. How many thousands of years ago? Is it David you want to talk about? Credible story, that's the only comma in his whole story. Is it Solomon you want to talk about? I call him the prof. 1,000 women. Towards the end of his life, he got disoriented, lost his way, lost God's plan for his life. So there are many of them. If you want to follow their story, you have to follow it in full. Did it end well for them? If it's your natural inclination you're talking about, as a human being, do you want to have more money than you ever need? Yes. Should you steal it?
No.
You see the difference? So your inclination is to have abundance, have unlimited money. People that think like that are not ready to put in the work, they will end up doing fraud or stealing. So they are trying to meet a legitimate need and illegitimate way. Are you catching this? So if it's your natural flesh or what your flesh wants, you're asking, does your flesh want to fast? No. So if you're asking me what your flesh wants, oh, your flesh wants many women. Now, it's not as much, now of course there are some women that also want many men, but that's not the natural inclination of a woman. A woman is not thinking about how to come into a room and say, I slept with all the men in this hotel. It's not a woman's natural inclination. Alright, so it's not because women are better than men, just that that part of it, women even see it as stress. 10 men, you have 10 boyfriends. That's just too much stress for a woman. But a man that is financially capable, 10 women is looking like an option. So it's not that women are better than us, they're just different than us. It's not a big temptation. The way men even fall into temptation is different how women fall into temptation. For a woman to fall in love, a lot of time is required. She needs companionship, communication, all these things. For a man to fall into lust, into trouble, it doesn't need, nothing is needed. So there will be more men falling into temptation than women, naturally. More men. I mean, if you even look at things like prostitution, it's more tailored to men. So men can have sex with people they don't know, and they will never see again. And they're okay. Well, most women are not trying to see a total stranger that you don't even know. You don't know his name, and your dream is that I want to sleep with this man. It doesn't come to women. So it's not that women are better than men. They are just wired a bit differently. So most times I have to help women to understand how a man's life goes. A man can also get sexually aroused very quickly. A woman generally gets aroused slowly. So before she even thinks too far to go and do something bad, too many children will call her. Something will happen. She's not going to be able to get there. But for a man can get aroused in an instant. He wasn't even planning to think something bad today. He was genuinely trying to go to work or go to church. And somebody just posts a picture or posts something that gets. He's wired that way. He's a visual being. So he needs to put more security. So Job was wise. Job said, I've made a covenant with my eyes. So Job was wise. He put in a protection. So that's what I want to get the guys to get. If you don't protect yourself, if you follow your natural instincts, you'll mess up a lot. A lot. But for women, it's slightly different. Alright, so I hope that answers your question.
Thank you very much. If there are any questions, I guess in the all here, we can also take, just raise your hand up and we'll take that question after this one, okay? So another question for guest speakers. You talked about public love. What is your advice for a man who is very private and does not even have a public avenue to express public love?
Oh, that's very easy. If you leave your house, you can hold a hand when you're walking. That's part of it. So there are ways to show. Again, like I said, don't be so stuck on your instincts. If you follow your instincts, you will be a horrible lover any day, anytime. Love is not about you, it's about your willingness to be what your partner wants or needs. Alright, so once in a while surprise your partner, once in a while send her something at work. By the time my colleagues see a gift coming, say, who is sending you a gift at this age? Says my husband, hey, you are giving love. That's all. How much does it cost to get someone to go and deliver flowers or deliver chocolate or deliver something she likes in the office? That's public display. Alright, so no matter how private you are, come out of your shell and be public. Alright. Yes, somebody was raising their hand.
My first one is an advice to men. As you age, you you are using some drugs. It's my you tend to go a little bit down. I first of all want to tell you that I'm also in that cohort. But there's something you need to do that can make you better. You need to strengthen your pelvic bone, and I'm going to show that to you. The next one I want to do, I used to enjoy something from my wife, but she's not denying me. Pastor knows about it.
I'm not hearing you well. You can't hear you well.
You don't hear me?
Yeah, better.
Okay, good. I said, as men grow up, right, with age, they go down a little bit, and there's a way out of it. Also, it also happens when you are using some drugs, it goes you down, especially the appetizing drugs. So I'm going to show you what I do so that you can strengthen your pelvic bone. So the second one, I like to carry my wife when we were young. Now she doesn't like to carry her.
Hey, no, please, no, don't show it, don't show it, don't show Next question, let's move on.
Praise the Lord. So I have a question. Am I unreasonable when it comes to gifting? I don't like my wife giving me gift cards or money to go and buy what I want to buy. I want her to buy something, no matter how small it is. For me, it's the effort, and they are thinking about me. Am I unreasonable and putting her through the ringer, or is it not?
I don't think you're unreasonable because I would think that way because I'm exactly like you. I don't like Pastor K to give me money. I know a lot of women, when people preach, they say, oh, give your wife money. I don't want your money. I want you to be thought. So it's the thought that counts for me. That means you know me. That means you're interested in knowing the things I like. That means you're invested in me. So it's much more than the gift. So I don't think you're unreasonable. I think that you just need to communicate it and explain to her that this is why. I don't want a lazy husband. I don't want a lazy wife. I don't want someone to just give me money and they'll give me a gift card. I want you to put the effort. It tells me that you know me, that you've done the work. So I don't think you're unreasonable at all. I just think it's your personality and that's fine.
And I'm sure you married opposites as well. Like I said, opposites attract. So you married the person that is very playful, very not into the details, and just want to do the wahala of going to find something. Because for us, we find it difficult to find what you guys like. We just think no matter what we pick, it will be exactly. When I was going to, I proposed to my wife because we're going to be 20 years of marriage this year. So, the first time we married, I didn't propose with ring.
So you can't say you
now
propose.
I propose.
We're
already married now. But okay, I proposed with ring this time. But to find the kind of diamond ring she would like, I had to go through a lot of work. I had to call it, the people that knew her, that what do you guys think, what do you guys think? So I said, oh, she likes the square one, she doesn't like this type. So I had to send them many pictures, they were all told me then. So a lot of work had to go into it. I've always been terrified about buying her something because of how detailed and particular they are, we just feel we will not be able to pick something you like. So what I would tell to your wife is to give it a shot anyway.
Yes.
She's scared about missing it. So go ahead, pay some attention, get into his head and look at the other things he does. Whenever he's in a place or whatever, see the things he likes, then take a shot. You might not get it all the time, but take that shot. He will appreciate the effort, over just giving money, yes.
All right, thank you. I think this one applies to a lot of people. It says, what do you do when your husband is constantly on his phone? And then it goes on to say, I'm screaming all the time. So I don't know what the screaming part means. But basically, what do you do when your husband is constantly on his phone?
Screaming?
Yes, I'm screaming all the time.
He is screaming?
He is screaming, yes.
As in yelling?
Well, I will assume yelling, yes.
Was it a disciple? Possibly a typo, maybe streaming, because phone and screaming don't go together. So most likely.
Well, I'll rephrase the question. So, what do you do when husbands are constantly on the phone? Maybe watching stuff on TikTok, Instagram, and not giving attention?
Okay, that's the reality of the new age we are in. Phone addiction is a reality that has come to stay. So jokingly, I tell people like that, send him a message on his phone. Find out the kind of things he's watching, and maybe send him memes, find a way to connect with him. You can't force him, you know. If it was that easy, I would just tell him that you must talk to me. But, you know, you're dealing with somebody that has a habit that he has built, so we can't force him. So find out what he's watching, look for how to connect with him at a deeper level than just demanding for him to spend time with you. All right? So that's the few things you can do, but it's a habit. So it's not something you can get away. Have the conversations with him that you would like him to spend more time. If you need to schedule times that we do no phone times and we just talk, have those conversations with him. But again, like I said, if somebody's not willing, there's little or nothing anybody can do except God. All right.
Thank you. Next question says, what do you do when your partner has a porn addiction?
A porn addiction, pornography. All right. What was it? What? You need to
The therapist, not you. You can't do anything but pray, but he needs to get help. So you need to find a way to convince him to get help, some kind of intervention. But you can't help him if you're not. Even if you're a therapist, you're too close to treat the matter. So you have to get him to see someone. So it's not something. You need addiction. Is sickness. It's not something you just tell person, you're addicted, stop it. It doesn't work that way. So he needs to get help, he needs treatment. But he needs to see that he needs treatment. Because whether you like it or not, the addiction will affect your marriage. It will affect your sex life, it will affect your home. So you can't be the one, you can't do anything about it. When you say, what can I do? You can't. So he needs to get help.
Alright. Thank you. So I'll take the next one on communication. It says, how can you deal with a partner that does not communicate and can go on for weeks without communicating after an argument or disagreement with their spouse, which has an impact on the family?
Which had a what? Give me the last one.
Has impact on the family, so they're not communicating.
I don't know how to handle that. Again, these are largely personality issues. So when things are going well, so I want you to operate more out of curiosity. When things are going well, try and find out why they do what they do. Every time you see a human being acting out of the ordinary, there's usually a background trauma causing it. There's a background reason, and you can't treat what is going on in the present without addressing where this is coming from. All right? I still spoke to somebody recently that her husband beats their 4-year-old black and blue. As in black and blue, red, black eye, beating, seriously. And simple question I asked, and no matter what you tell the guy thinks this is the best way. And I asked, how did he also grow up? Of course, he said his mom and dad used to beat him. He still has scars from his mother's shoe heel. You know, that's how they brought him up. So some people you are complaining about, if you know where they're coming from, you know that they've even tried. They have improved compared to where they are coming from. If somebody's coming from a house where the husband and wife keep 1 month malice, if he's only doing 1 week with you, that is an incredible improvement. You should even clap for him and applaud him that you're a better version. You can't blame people if you know where people are coming from. You see, and things that you think are intolerable, the moment you understand the history, you find that they are not as intolerable as you think. All right, I always share a common story, how I went to the UAE to Dubai, my wife for something then. It was Champions League season, so I went to the viewing center to watch the match. And the match ended like 12, Dubai is like 2 or 3 hours ahead of Nigerian time, so the match ended like 12 midnight or 1 a.m. Dubai time. So 1 a.m. I took a taxi from the viewing center back to the hotel. I like sitting in front when I'm in a cab, so I sat in front of the driver, and the guy was chewing gum. This was the most irritating and loud gum chewing you have ever seen. It was and shaking his head as if he was, eating ice cream. It was happening. I was so irritated, and I felt he would soon stop. Now that I've entered the cab, I felt he would soon stop. We're driving 5 minutes, he would soon stop 10 minutes. He was after a while, I couldn't take it anymore. I just started blasting the guy. What kind of behavior is this? This is unprofessional. This is not ethical. I was just telling him how that is not good for business. You have a client in the backyard. I was just schooling him. At some point, he interrupted me and said, he normally works night shift, which is 12 midnight to like 7 a.m. And that he sleeps during the day. But on this particular day, he didn't sleep. So as he's driving me, he's feeling sleepy. That's why he's chewing the gum and shaking his head. I say be chewing louder. Let me hear you chew. I want to hear you chew louder. If you have extra, give me, we'll chew together till we get to our destination. We will get to our promised land. Nobody's dying here today. Chew. The moment I got the background information of why he was acting the way he was acting, something that was irritating became something that was worthy of celebrating. It was commendable that you are fighting for our life. So if you understand people's background, you'll be more sensitive, to their struggle, to their battle. All right. So yes.
Okay, let me just add this for the person in question, the husband, because it sounds like, if I'm not wrong, it was a woman that wrote that question. At some point, you're going to have to grow up. Yes, I know that this is how you manage things when you're young. You don't like something, you go and sulk, stay in the corner, you don't talk to anybody. You are now a mature adults. You are somebody's father, somebody's husband, and they are relying on you. So yes, we can say there's trauma, but until you decide to break the yoke off your neck, you can't be free. You have to grow up at some point. So I think that you need to step outside of just thinking about only yourself. I don't like what my wife did. Is there no better way to communicate than to carry your face and give him malice and be acting like everybody's against you? Are you a baby? So I think we need to grow up. That's the only way marriage can survive, when we start to act mature. It takes maturity and a certain level of grace for marriage to work. So yeah, we can stand here and say these are things you need to do, this is what's happening in your life. But until you decide this is where I'm coming from, but I don't want to be there. So how do you say because they beat you, you are going to beat your own 4-year-old? There are some things that shouldn't be heard of. You may be from a broken home, but you must make up your mind that a broken home will not come from you. So that's how it works. So you need to grow up and stop putting that woman through that kind of torment. So if you're in the room, please, sir. I've said respectfully, sir. Please grow up, sir.
Thank you so much. Another question for you. If your partner has rejected you several times over the years and now has affected your mental health, how do you heal from that together and build a healthy relationship?
When something is unhealthy, you see a doctor. That's how I see it. So there's something wrong here. And you don't, for a long time, and I must apologize on behalf of the body of Christ, I think that for a long time we've done damage to Christians. Where we tell them, oh, just tell each other sorry and move on. It doesn't work that way. We're dealing with human beings, not tools, not inanimate objects. People that have feelings, people that have emotions. So if someone has been rejected over and over and over again, it does a number on the person. The person who has self-esteem issues, so there's a lot. So they have to get help. You can't figure it out on your own. There's a place for praying, yes. But there's something about someone being trained to help you. So either go to a trained counselor, go to your pastors. So you have to go through forgiveness therapy. You first have to even get past forgiving the person, forgiving yourself, understanding why this person did this so that make sure it doesn't happen again. Then what happened? Why have you been rejected for so long? And why the switch? Why does he want things to change all of a sudden? And you're not a TV that you press pause and press play, you play again. It doesn't work that way. You're a human being. So you need help. You guys need to sit down. Christians need to normalize getting counsel. It doesn't mean that you're a failure. It doesn't mean that there's something wrong with you. The Bible says that in the multitude of counsel, there's safety. So go to someone who knows how to handle these things. They walk you through the journey, talk to you, help you ask the right questions, and help you get the answers.
Thank you so much.
And when it comes to rejection as well, you need to tie your self-esteem and importance to God as well. Every time you tie it to people, human beings will fail. That's just what human beings do. So don't take it personal. Try to get your self-worth from the fact that God can never reject you. You are accepted in the beloved. God loves you. It's a real thing. All right? Most times when we're disappointed is that we are putting priority on human love above God's love. And God is the one that is constant. Human beings, the best of them, can still disappoint.
Thank you. So this will be the final question for tonight. And it says, why do some women find it difficult to respect their husbands? Respect or submit to their husband.
So I think it's the concept of submission that people have. I think it's also the way submission has been taught for so long. People have been made to believe that submission means subservience or it means slavery, and that's not Bible submission. If you believe that someone always makes decisions that are primarily for your good, submitting to that person will not be hard. I don't think that submission is a problem for women. I think submission is submitting to a particular person is the problem. If women that drive, I don't know how many of them get to traffic lights and it turns red and they decide, what? These are inanimate objects. How can you tell me what to do? And they run it. How many women in the room will do that? They submit to the traffic lights. Why? Because the traffic light is there for your good. If you run that light, you can get into an accident or you can get a ticket, right? You go to the salon to make your hair. Whether the person is fine, handsome, older than you or not, the person says sit, put your head back, you put it back, sit like this, do like this. Why? Because you know that when you're done, you will look beautiful. The person is working for your good. You get on a plane, fasten your seat belts. You don't say, who does this pilot think he is? I'm supposed to submit to my husband, not to every man. So why should I put on my seatbelt? What do? You put on your seatbelt. Even if you're a woman, even if you're a pilot, you put on your seatbelt. So submission is not the problem, selection is the problem. And submission always starts with selection. If you choose the right person, submission is never a problem. So most women are not fighting the concept of submission. They are fighting who they are asked to submit to. And I think the problem is with them, because why do you choose someone you can't submit to?
And yes, and I will also add to that. Pastor also spoke to this in the morning when we were with young adults. Again, you can't do marriage by instincts. As a woman, your instincts generally, and let me tell you why you find it hard to submit to every man or your own husband in particular, is because usually women think faster than men. The woman's brain works faster than the man's. The man thinks deeper or slower. The woman thinks on her feet. So women don't understand when men say they want to go and think about something. She doesn't understand. Like, you're not thinking as you're here, you're not thinking. You need time to go and think. She doesn't get it because for her, she processes very fast. Her processor is, iPhone 16 processor. The man's one is analog. iPhone 1. So he thinks deeper but slower. He needs time, solitude to process things. A woman processes things on her feet. So imagine you being a Ferrari 800 horsepower V12 and you're following a 2023 Corolla. It will take conscious effort to submit. It's not going to come natural to submit. A woman talks faster, thinks faster. A man talks way slower, thinks slower. So God put a structure in the home where a woman is designed to follow the man's lead. This doesn't mean she doesn't have opinions. This doesn't mean she can't have a better idea. But it just means for the unity of the home, they have to work together. And when you want two people to work together and one is faster than the other, which one do you tell to slow down? I can't hear you. Which one do you tell to slow down? Faster one is the one that has to slow down. So if women don't slow down in quote to submit, she will outrun the man, and a lot of times because she doesn't process as deeply as a man, her decisions will still put the family in trouble. So you see Sarah, see Eve, see all these women that outran their man's decision. They came back eventually and knew that decisions were not the best. They should have calmed down, slowed down your engine, let's work together. A woman brings a different perspective from a man. But because she's very impatient, she wants to, if you when women address issues, they address it now. But a man will say, let's talk about it in 1 week's time. If she doesn't calm down for them to cooperate, the union will never be the same. And submission is not sub-gender or sub-opinion or sub-preference. It's submission. So the unity of that group, it trumps everybody in that group. So we must always come together, submit to the mission in this family. What are we trying to achieve? But if we don't do it like that, everybody just go the way you want. The woman will generally go steps ahead in terms of decision making and all that, steps ahead. So submission is not natural for women. It's something God commanded them to do. And it doesn't mean your husband will always do things you like. It doesn't mean you always make the best decisions. He's a human being. Even if they put you in charge, you will still make bad decisions sometimes. Everybody makes mistakes. But for the unity of that union, we must stand together. And for that to happen, one person that has run ahead, come back. Let's stay planned. Thank you. And we'll be available outside to sign books for those that want to get books. Oh,
No.
Pastor.
We're gonna thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you. I intentionally chose not to say anything. Different opinion. And I believe we've had a wonderful time. There are 3 specific issues I will have to address. I know you really want to say something. Yeah, come. Because he got up very desperately and wanted to say something. Is it a question? Is it an opinion?
You were here when I said.
I hope it's too.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This forum is the best I've ever attended. Give a round of applause to this guy. So this is counseling 101 Nigerian way, not an Oyibo way. Okay. I have 3 questions. I lost them all, but I'm going to ask a question. Number 1, submission. It is a very difficult word. The wives will submit to the pastor. They'll submit, but they'll find it difficult to submit to you. That is a problem. I have a cousin. The wife don't ever pray together. The man goes right, the woman goes left. And I'm wondering, how can this family be together? If they don't kneel down together to pray, how is that going to work? And finally, please permit me. I've been married for over 33 years. And my wife is sitting over there, my beautiful wife. It hasn't been easy. Sometimes we butt heads. But I've realized that keep her happy and everything will be okay. So, my submission today, she told me to come here today, and I did come. And I appreciate being here.
Thank you, sir.
I appreciate being here. So, Pastor, you know me and you know my family, and thank you very much for putting this together.
Thank you so much. Wow. So we can sleep easy. A few years ago, I was forced to join a couple. Like, you know, when they sort of say, oh, please come and help us. And as the lady was reading the vows, the portion of the vows says to obey. And she stopped the entire wedding. It's not one of my people. It was an American group. I was invited to do it. And she insisted she wasn't going to use the word obey. And I insisted I wasn't going to continue with the wedding. It's very simple. You see, we use the word submit, obey, and all so easily. If the roles were turned, if guys were the ones that were told to obey their wives, it would be equally as difficult. Because obedience is extremely difficult when you have to obey your equal. It's very, very difficult. And that's why God had to command it. It's easy when you respect and honor, you respect and honor what you look up at. As long as respect, honor, and all those things have to be earned before it comes naturally. Unlike love you give freely. I said something a few weeks in church. I said the most difficult assignment that Jesus had was to obey the Father. Because he was in a divine state, he was in heaven, he was God. He created. Obedience was more difficult for Jesus than creation. And that's why he had to learn it. It was the only thing that he had to learn, suffering. Because he had to obey God the Father that was him. He was equal to God. And that's the same thing with marriages. It's extremely difficult to obey. And that's why God had to command it. It is a commandment. He doesn't have to earn it. He doesn't have to be respectful. You are supposed to. And that's the same thing goes for the love. You see, women naturally love. They carry a baby for 9 months. They're a epitome of love. But a man loves conditionally. A man looks at a woman, she has to be pretty, she has to be there, she has to be that, she has to be nice, she has to be sweet. Conditionally, there are reasons. And I tell people that when you want to get married, a man and a woman have reasons. You have a bunch of reasons. She's 6 feet tall, he's 5 feet 2. You have a bunch of reasons. But when you get married, those reasons should start to disappear. Because marriage is supposed to be unconditional. That's the way God loves us. That's the way he loves us. He loves us unconditionally. So the less reason you have, the reason why people get upset is because they have a reason. So if I don't meet your reason, if I don't meet your condition, there's trouble. But the closer you get, I don't have any reason. I've been married for 36 years. I don't have any reason why I love my wife anymore. Because I love her completely. It's unconditional. It doesn't have to be nice before I know her. Because over the years, I've learned to remove the reasons. And that's where we should get to. That's where we should ultimately want to get to, where there are no reasons. I love you unconditionally. That's the ultimate place to get to. There was somebody that said something very, very sad about practically giving up. And when you get to a point where one party is saying, what am I really in this for? It takes wanting to be married to stay married. You have to want it. Now, I've told people several times that if only one person wants it, you can save your marriage. If one person wants it, well, more enough, you can still save your marriage. Wow, because the rules are very simple. The whole essence of marriage are based on rules. The Creator created us and gave us things that we're supposed to do. And if we do them, things change. So for instance, if God tells me to love my wife, and I don't love her anymore, I have broken the chain. Now, if my wife decides that the love she can give me is subject to, the respect she can give me is subject to the love she gets from me, then we are at a headlock. That marriage is going to break down, yes or no? Yes. So if she insists that, I'm going to love you as much as, I'm going to respect you as much as you love me. And I say to her that I will love you as much as you respect me. We are loggerheads. But if she chose that this crazy guy has stopped loving me, but I will continue to do my assignment, which is to do what? To respect, to honor you. Over the years, I told you a story some time ago. I had a couple, and I'll round up with this. This is a true story. I had a guy walk up to me and say, Pastor, my wife doesn't love me anymore. And I asked him, do you still want to stay married? And he said, yes, I want you to stay married. And I said, are you going to do exactly what I tell you to do? He looked at me and said, I'm not sure. Because he didn't know as much as he was going to ask me to do, or I was going to ask him to do. And I said, I will walk with you as long as you listen. So we started the journey. I said, she doesn't like you anymore because she doesn't feel loved. So can you love her until she starts to like you again? And that's a very difficult journey. It's very difficult to express love when you're not getting love in return. But I promised him, it took almost a year. I told him how to text, the things to write. There was a day he told me, weeping on the phone, I told him to buy flowers. He said, my wife took the flower, threw it at my face, and said this word, she got over a she. What that means in English now, is that what your mates are doing? That's how bad and how terrible there was a day he slept in our basement because he was so humiliated at home that all he wanted to do was just get away. But I kept at him and he kept on pushing, and gradually the woman started to turn because he was consistent. He wasn't. There are days I said he should use me as a venting tool. Just vent when you are really mad. So that day we pick up the phone, I will be screaming. But by the time he gets off that scream, he comes back in a soft tone. And he kept on like that. It took like 10 months or 11 months, almost a year, before she came around. And he saved that marriage. One person. It's good when two of you want to work together. Perfect. But if one person is determined that you are not going anywhere, I'm going to do my best, it is possible to save your marriage. So as hopeless as you felt, whoever asked that question, if it's a woman, I pray that your husband has not given up. If it's a man, I pray that your wife has not given up. There's always hope. Thank you for coming. I love you all. We'll have the phone calls in church tomorrow. Please be there on time. There's a time change. We'll be losing 1 hour. So as it is now, it's already past 11.